Experienced Darden podcast. I'm your host, Brett Twitty, and you are listening to a new episode. On this episode of the podcast, I'm excited to share my recent conversation with Selorm Tamakloe. Selorm is a first-year student in our full-time MBA class of 2027, and he is also the section representative for Section D. I recently connected with Selorm to talk more about his background, his decision to pursue an MBA, what led him to Darden, how his first year is going, and so much more. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. And as always, if this conversation is helpful for you, please like this episode and subscribe to the Experienced Darden podcast so you never miss an update. And remember, you can always check the episode description for links to Darden blogs, social channels, and more. Now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Selorm Tamakloe. Selorm, welcome to the podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
It's great to speak with you. How are you doing? Beautiful Friday here in Washington, D.C. I trust down in Charlottesville as well.
Actually, beautiful weather. I woke up this morning, came to business school pretty early, and it was a nice bright day. And now the sun is also out. I'll probably, after this, go step outside. There's a nice lawn, so I'll just like sit out there and wait a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of the podcast, particularly on a beautiful Friday in Charlottesville in the fall. It's kind of hard to resist that. So thanks for spending some time indoors. Let's talk a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit more about who you are and your background.
Yeah. So my name is Selorm Tamakloe. I grew up in Louisiana to two Ghanaian parents. Both of them are doctors. I ended up getting my sociology degree in Yale University, and then after Yale, I worked at Bloomberg for 3 years as a financial product specialist. That's a little bit about me. If there's anything else you want to know, feel free to ask.
Oh, well, sure. Well, we'll get into it. How did you decide that you wanted to pursue an MBA?
Yeah, after Yale, I always knew I was gonna get some form of education again. Again, both my parents are doctors, and before them, on my dad's side, both my grandparents are doctors, but not medical doctors. So I felt like I needed to step up as well. With that said, I knew I didn't want to go into medicine. I thought for a while I would be a lawyer, but I think a lot of things changed a- after my dad started his business in Ghana, and I was like, I think I want to learn about the financial markets. Ended up being at Bloomberg for 3 years. Got a nice introduction to the capital markets, but eventually I felt like I hit my peak in terms of learning. And I'm always a person that seeks knowledge. So that's when I decided, okay, it's time to get an MBA.
Mentioned your dad's business in Ghana. What kind
Yeah.
of business?
So he's starting a basically a hospital in Ghana in Accra. I believe he calls it Medi is what he calls it. And yeah, like it's gone through a lot of different phases, and hopefully it stabilizes and starts to go well.
All right. So Bloomberg, you got some exposure to capital markets, but it sounded like you wanted a little bit more than
Yeah.
that. How did you ultimately get interested in Darden?
So you know what everyone does? They look up what's the top business school in XYZ. Uh, and I what really drew me to Darden though was I grew up in Louisiana, a small town called Ruston, Louisiana, and I was used to being around a really close knit community. I felt that's what Darden spoke about highly, and I wanted to be in a space that I wasn't just another like person in the class. Like I could be actively involved, and I think like Darden does a very great job with that. On top of that, like I mentioned, I am someone that loves knowledge and loves to seek it. So I heard reading forums and from friends who had already done their MBA that Darden was a really rigorous academic MBA, and that I knew that was for me. My girlfriend, she was like, of course, I would choose one of the most academically rigorous MBAs instead of going to have fun and party like what real MBAs do or something.
Have you been somebody who always enjoys an academic challenge?
Yeah, I think my parents instilled it within me early. I took AP classes growing up. My sister, I say I have a twin sister. She is probably the more academically inclined person, but as the younger twin, I don't want her to show me up. So anytime she wanted to learn something, I was like, okay, I have to reach that or more. She ended up getting her master's at Cambridge. I think that was also another factor on why I wanted to do an MBA because I think it was my second year I was at Bloomberg, and that's when she was getting her master's at Cambridge University.
So a little bit of sibling rivalry.
Yeah, yeah.
So you come to Darden, you're a first year student now. You chose Darden because of the academic challenge and the educational experience here and the sense of community. How's it been going? How's your first year so far?
First year's great. I would say the case method is unlike anything I've ever done. Um, I would say it's a mixture of being in a lecture and a seminar. So a seminar being a really small group of people and you're discussing and answering questions with each other. But now instead of 12 people, I would imagine it's 72 people. We're a big class this year. And honestly, I'm really enjoying it. In order to prep myself, I participated in what's called Darden before Darden. This basically gives you a week or two before classes actually start. You come to Charlottesville and you get to actually take some quote unquote pretend classes, but these will be with real faculty members and you'll actually go through real cases and prep the way that you would normally prep when the school starts. So to give like some idea of what you would do, you would read the cases before class, hopefully discussing with what's known as a learning team. This would be a group of 5 to 7 members working through this theoretical concept that you may not be familiar with. And ideally, you get to 80% of the answer. And after that, you come to class, discuss your findings, um, kind of debate on whether or not um, people answered the question correctly. And hopefully, by the end of class, you have about 95 to 100% of knowledge. And then after that, you can then reflect on what you learned with your learning team after class.
Yeah, no right answers sometimes in these classes. How's that been?
Oh yeah. So professors don't give us answers. Rather, we as a class need to come to that answer. And sometimes it can be a little unsettling not finding out if you're right or wrong, but in reality, that's the real world. And like you have to, yeah, we just have to keep moving forward with it. And hope that what you learned, you could take with you and into the next phase or next challenge.
One of the things that's true about the case method, Selim, is it's iterative, right? So from where you read your first case, your second case, like you're getting better at this as you go through your first year and obviously into your second year. And as you're learning through the case method, you're gonna get a little bit better with as you go through each discussion. Can you feel that growth, even though you've only been here for about a month or so at this point?
For sure. I will say again, I was a sociology major, wasn't didn't do any accounting. I had some understanding of finance because of Bloomberg, but marketing, which marketing is actually surprisingly more like growth strategy. That's what I would like to clarify for people. It's not just a marketing class. You're also putting on a consultant hat. And yeah, I feel with every class I'm getting better. And I felt it kind of quickly. Like at the end of DBD, I felt more prepared than I had ever been. And then the first week of class came, and for accounting, instead of doing financial accounting, we're doing managerial accounting, and we're introduced to new concepts. But I didn't shy away from the challenge. I was like, I have the tools that I need in order to succeed. And each class, I keep coming back and like learning something new. So yeah, with that said, I feel like I'm getting better and I I can't wait to see what I will be able to do a year from now.
Well, tell us a little bit more about your section. What section are you?
So I'm the Great Section D. For those that don't know what a section is the classroom that you're going to be a part of. Again, I mentioned it's about 72 people. This is where the seminar style is. Every section is different. You have your own norms, your own culture, your own goals, and these are the people you're going to be with for the first 3 quarters of UVA. And it's a great time. We're able to have fun, and professors also enjoy the fun. Like we have what we call champagne bets, where we encourage people to have some funny interactions in class, like maybe sneak. For example, somebody in class snuck into his answer to a question that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and it had everyone laugh in class, and the professor also enjoyed it. So yeah, sections is just a place where you grow together as a community and learn from each other, debate with each other. And yeah, it's just its own version of an institution. I think like from a sociology perspective, it's very interesting.
Do you have a favorite norm or something you do as a section?
So for sections, we each section has their own chant, and I was chosen to lead our weekly chant the second week of class, and it was my favorite thing to do. We basically it's hard to describe. You have to see it. It's truly an experience. When if anyone has the opportunity to come visit in person, and hopefully get to be in section D, you will see that someone goes up to the front, they bang on the table and they scream, "Are you ready?" 3 times, and then bang on the table 2 more times, and with everyone also banging on the table, creating this loud like noise and atmosphere. And like keep in mind, this is happening at 8 a.m. in the morning. So it's energizing everybody to get the day started. And there's also a bit of rivalry because the room right next to us is section C, and they try to compete with how loud we are. I think that's my favorite norm is just being able to be as loud as possible and like throw off all that nervous energy that we may have.
Was that something you were expecting to find in your MBA experience?
Not at all. Again, I think I walked in and I was like, okay, this is UVA is a rigorous institution. We're going to be very serious business people. But the more I've been here, the more I realize that it's a work hard, play hard culture. And if you can't have fun, then you're not going to enjoy yourself as well as like you're not going to get as much from the MBA as you possibly could.
So you decided to be a section representative. So you're one of the leaders of Section D. How'd you decide you wanted to take on this role?
So I was nominated. So you basically for section leadership, you don't campaign. People choose you to step up and decide for section for to be a section rep, which is basically being like the president of your section. You have to give a speech. I was kind of nervous because I'm recruiting for investment banking, and investment banking is a large time commitment. On top of that, I was told that being the section rep is also a very large time commitment. I sat down with the previous section rep and asked her about her responsibilities, all the things she did. And what I got away from it is how much she enjoyed the challenge. I came in also being probably one of the youngest people in the MBA. I'm 25 right now, will be 26 come March 22nd. And I was intimidated that maybe people won't take me as seriously because they see me as a bit younger. But the fact that I was nominated told me that people see something in me. Past that, I also spoke with my parents. I was trying to tell them like I don't think I can do it because of investment banking, but they said they told me if someone nominated, they believe that you have the ability to do it. And it's a challenge that I should seek and not fear. And if I'm able to get through it, I'll only get better. And if I don't succeed, at least I'll have something to learn from. So there isn't really any loss in me being a section rep.
Yeah, I know it can feel a little maybe unnerving putting yourself out there in that way. Obviously, you've been nominated. It's a little different than running for something, but still, like, be nominated. People are thinking about you as a leader. Like, there's still so much to be gained just from that experience of,
Exactly.
being considered for that kind of role. And so it sounds like you're excited about being section rep.
I am, and it's very humbling. Everyone has questions, so you do have to become the point person. But you're also like ed, I'd say like the advocate or liaison between your student body and the professors. Sometimes professors want to like dispel information to the whole class really quickly. And sometimes there's people in your class that may feel like they didn't quite understand the topic or the teacher moved a bit too fast. Up to me to kind of like bridge that gap. And like that's a responsibility I look forward to.
Yeah, what do you enjoy about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, it's like again, I think about my parents, they're doctors and they get to help people every day as a job. Um, I think that instilled in me a sense of purpose, and I've always seen myself as an advocate. Like even at Bloomberg, um, I'm not in my actual role, but as like an extracurricular, I was an advocate to help bridge people's career aspirations within the company. So I just felt this was a natural fit.
Have you enjoyed Charlottesville thus far?
Yeah, it's different. So I'm coming from New York and I don't have a car right now. And I I live about a 30-minute walk from campus. And in New York terms, that's nothing. Like that's just walk straight for 30 minutes, you're at where you need to be. But New York is relatively flat. Charlottesville is hilly, and I was not prepared. So the first day I remember walking into class and I get drenched in sweat because I was actually going straight uphill, a few hills here and there, but mostly uphill. And I was like, okay, I may need to start coming to school with with two shirts. Luckily, again, it's business school, so we're here to also network. And I made a great group of friends who come pick me up in the morning before class. Sometimes we get Chick-fil-A or Chick-fil-A for breakfast. And then yeah, we chill. I've been downtown, watched a few movies. There's a nice Regal. And oh, it's really funny too because some cases you read at Darden will also be about some of the stores or companies that are actually in Charlottesville. And when you get to walk around and you see the place, you're like, I read about this, and it's really cool to see.
Well, Selim, what are you looking forward to in the months ahead?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Darden Cup. For those that don't know what Darden Cup is, each section basically competes against each other for bragging rights. Um, and last year, my section won Darden Cup. So I hope to do a three-peat, and I think we have a great group of guys and girls who like are very competitive but also know how to have fun. So actually like this Saturday we have cricket. So a lot of domestic people don't know what cricket is, and many international students have been teaching us. And I'm excited to see my first like live cricket event, and I'm going to be dressed up kind of like a general manager and just have fun, honestly.
How does a general manager dress?
In a in a business suit that maybe I'm going to be on the field. I don't know. I don't play cricket, but I'm imagining like it's like an NBA.
Yeah, one of the cool things about Darden Cup, it's not just about actively participating in the particular contest, sport, whatever it might be. So it also points for just showing up and supporting, as I understand, like the number of people who turn out on behalf of the
Yeah,
section.
exactly. So, yes, it's important to win, but it's also important to show up for your peers, and we take that into account for the scoring system. Actually, the first Darden Cup event that we had was called Long Games, and we lost by 1 point because, and the point was participation. So, like, we had tied or did better in every other event, but we had one less person show up. So I'm instilling into my section like let's all try to be there for our cricket players, and let's at least be like we had the most amount of people there.
It's a good thing to aspire to. A lot to be said for just participating, just showing up.
Yeah,
Must be present to win, in other words. So, well, I wonder, Selim, do you have any final words of advice for our listeners? Anything you'd encourage them to think about as they think about their own MBA journeys?
that's a good question. I think for you, I would I would do what I did and reflect on whether or not now is the time to get your MBA. Um, some people might rush into it and not know exactly what they want to get out of it. I was fortunate enough to know what my next steps were and what I needed to do. And because I had a North Star, I was able to succeed in my aspirations. So I say find your North Star and then just break it down piece by piece and make it achievable goals.
It's great advice. I think being very clear about your priorities, what you want to get out of this experience, having that North Star really helps when you're having to make these tough calls about where you put your time and your energy and, how you want to, basically approach your MBA experience. You can get pulled in a lot of different directions. There's so much opportunity. There's so much happening. Be clear about your priorities. It's a gift.
Exactly.
Well, Selin, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great talking with you, and best of luck to Section D in Darden Cup and cricket specifically this weekend.
Thank you, Brett. It was nice talking with you guys too. It was also fun being part of this podcast.
And that was my conversation with Selorm Tamakloe, a first-year student in our full-time MBA class of 2027. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, requests, anything you'd like for us to cover here on the podcast, we're all ears. We can be reached at Darden, that's DARDEN, @virginia.edu. Till next time, stay safe, be well, and thanks for listening.